Good morning, students. Welcome to online class. Hope you are keeping well by the grace of God. So guys, today I am going to teach you social science geography segment in your book, and I hope that you have purchased your social science book chapter number 2 in geography, and the topic is natural resources, land, soil and water. So guys, in my previous teaching or lecture or in the previous chapter, you have already studied or learnt about the resources. How many resources are there in the environment? Soil, water, wind, minerals, those are the resources, and those are scattered all over the world, on the surface, beneath the surface. Only we have to extract those resources or to implement for human beings. Implementation and extraction both are required to take out the resource from the environment. So guys, today's chapter number 2, and the heading is natural resources, land, soil and water. So since you have book in front of you, you open your book and simultaneously open your copy also. So first, let us read about land resources. Land covers about 29% of the total surface area of Earth. It is the most important gift of nature. Human beings meet most of their needs from it. You know very well that 71% in the world, in Earth, occupied by water, and rest 29% occupied by land. So mankind or human beings cannot live in water. So always humans, they do live in land. Not only humans, many species, animals. I'm not talking about the aquatic animals. I'm talking about the animals who do stay, who do live in land or the surface of the earth, that is land. So mankind or human beings also do stay, we do stay in land. So land in quantity, it is quite less in earth. That means 71% water, 29% land. In that 29%, this land, there is also utilization of land. Some portion we cannot utilize. That is not fertile or that is not favorable for human beings. So rest of the part, that means land, we are using and we extract many things from the land for our usage. So all parts of the land surface are not useful. Just now I told you, those are not the entire, that means among this 29%, that means 10% land, 100% from this 29, that is not useful. So therefore the distribution of population is highly uneven. About 90% of the world's population occupies only 30% of the land area. The areas which have steep slope, that marshlands, deserts with extreme hot or cold climate and thick forest are generally uninhabited or sparsely populated. Sparsely means thinly populated, sparsely populated. In contrast, the plains and river valley which have suitable climate condition offer favorable factors for farming and densely populated. Quite obvious. In the previous chapter also, I discussed that those resources, those are not centralized, scattered all over the world on Earth's surface or beneath. So the same thing in the case of land also, that the land where that is not favorable, somewhere steep, hilly place, rocky, so population, thinly populated areas, because source of water is not there, fertile land is not also there, so it is not possible for human being to settle down there. So mainly the valleys, grazing ground and plains, those are densely populated, and rest of the part, that is sparsely populated or thinly populated. So wherever human beings or mankind, they do get the source or resource for cultivation or agriculture, for grazing, graze their animals, or they are dependent on animal husbandry, so factories, so where resources are there in the plains or even in the valleys, there you will notice the population is dense, and it is quite obvious and is a natural factor. So land use, how to use the land. Land is there, and who will use? We will use. We will utilize the fertility of the land. So we use land for different purposes such as cultivation, grazing, mining, setting up of industries and settlement, and so on. Such land utilization is called land use. In your book you can underline land use. It depends upon various physical, economic and human factors. Some of the factors are relief, climate, soil, land, tenure, technical know-how of the people, and duration of any particular occupation carried out in a certain area. The interplay of the factors has developed, and many types of land use. Guys, usually just now I told you that plain region or in the valley, grazing ground, or the land that is suitable for cultivation or agriculture, there people, they settle down. Industries also established there, and farmers, they also stay in villages, rural areas, and in the urban areas, in plain regions, urban areas people do stay. And urban areas, you know very well, it is developing like anything all over the world because resources are there. Urban areas, usually people, they do settle in plain region. Those are the urban areas. So because people, they do get various kinds of facilities, water, electricity and food grains, that means mode of transport should be there, that means communication, that should be favorable and comfortable, and people generally, they prefer, I'm not talking about the farmers or peasants. They do stay in the rural areas because they are farmers, they are dependent on agriculture or agricultural land. I'm talking about the urban people. They are fond of comfortable life, and that is why in the plain regions they do settle down, and that region becomes urban. That is called the urbanization. So factories are there, and comfortable life, people, they do lead comfortable life. So here also the same thing, that it depends upon that factories. Suppose huge land, acres and acres land is there, and Natural resource is also there. Suppose extraction, after digging the land, digging the soil, natural resource it is coming, but there is scarcity of water. That means no river, no lake, so it is not possible to establish a factory there. Because to establish a factory, the main resource apart from this natural resource, that is water. Water and electricity both are mandatory and essential for factories or industries. So that land, that is useless. So that is why it depends on the characteristics or features of the land. The slope of the land, climatic conditions. Climate also, it is a major factor, that if anywhere climate is too cold, chilled, most of the year covered with snow, just as the North Pole, the Eskimos are there. Is there any factory? Is there any industry? No. So climatic condition, it is one of the major factors that of land. Land is there but covered with snow. Soil is not visible.